Hello student, this is lecture 39 based on 5th unit for the subject sensor and instrumentation. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the automatic robot control, how this automatic robot control comes into the part of the sensor and instrumentation. Okay. So, let us discuss about some basic points related to this automatic robot control. Okay. So, whenever you are talking about this automatic robot control, so all of you know about this robot, okay, and control part, how you are going to control your robot. Okay. Now, third term is coming here automatic. Okay. So, the sensor part comes here, okay, because if I talk about the robot control, okay, so most of the part comes under the mechanical controlling. Okay. But when you are going to automate your robot, that comes into the part of the sensor and instrumentation. Although some parts also come into the robotic control, but most of the part, okay, because in present scenario everyone wants to automate the devices. Okay. So, when you are going to automate the devices, means you are going towards through the smart work, okay, or smart devices. Okay. So, because if I talk about this, I think most of you have seen this movie Wall-E. Okay, that is the movie. I am just taking one example, because that is this movie is very popular, Wall-E. Okay. In this movie, there is a robot, okay, a small robot, which is perform task automatically, communicate with others persons. Okay. So, device to device communication over there, robot to robot communication over there, robot to human communication over there. Okay. So, this is the best example of this automatic robot control. So, if I talk about the robots, automatic robot control. So, first thing is comes into the what are the characteristic, okay, of this. Okay. So, for this characteristic, first point I am just writing, and these are the basic points. Okay. So, robot or robots all consist of some sort of mechanical construction because most of the part, okay, ultimately they have to perform a mechanical task. Okay. So, the mechanical aspect of a robot helps it complete task in the environment for which its designed. Okay. So, for a particular task, okay, whatever the particular task they have designed, they have to perform these mechanical task. Okay. Now, second point, robots need electrical components that control and power the machinery. Okay. So, obviously, it is understood if you are going to design any robots, you have to control. Okay. So, for that you have to require electrical components, and obviously to perform any task you have to need to some power supply. Okay. So, power this to the machinery. Okay. So, if I talk about the essential requirement, okay. So, essentially an electric current, okay, or a battery, this is just for example. Is needed to power a large majority of robots. Okay. So, obviously, if you are going to perform any task, you have to require to give the power supply. Okay. Without power supply, your robot did not perform do not perform any task. Okay. And also robot contains at least some level of computer programming. Okay. So, you have to predefine your program in your robot, so that they perform a particular task. Okay. So, without a set of code telling it what to do, a robot system or robot would just be another piece of simple machinery. Okay. So, if you are not putting some pre-coding, okay, what will happen? You have to do the you have to control these robots manually. Okay. So, this is just like a machinery. Okay. So, what you are giving just switch on, switch off, and this machinery is working. Okay. So, inserting a program into a robot gives it the ability to know when and how to carry out a task. Okay. So, whenever you are going to put some programming in your robot, okay. So, for that also you have required to some inputs. Now, what the inputs? Inputs are coming from the different of sensors. Okay. So, for example, if you are designing this line follower robot, okay. So, I think most of you have seen this example, this line follower on YouTube channel, or also some of you have done this project. Okay. So, what is? There are some sensors, and these sensors are following this black path. Okay. So, if you are going to design what that is depending upon you are following the white path or black path. Okay. So, they will distinguish between these path. There are also sensors which sense this path and this line follower follow the path. Okay. So, this is the simplest example for the your automatic robot control. Okay. Now, whenever we are talking about the automatic, so obviously we have required a lot of sensor. Okay. Suppose you are going to design any for example, if this line follower path. So, obviously you have required some this RF sensor. Okay. And some also LED light emitting diode. Okay. So, they will work as a transmit the lights and as a and receive at the receiver side. Okay. So, these are the some examples of this automatic robot control. Okay. In current scenario, obviously most of us are depending upon these controls. If you seen in industry, okay, most of the industries are using these automatic robot control to perform a task. Okay. Why we are doing this? For making our system fast. Okay. Suppose you are in production field. Okay. So, if you want to produce high rate of the production, okay, what we have to, rather than going towards to human being or human person as a worker, we prefer these pre-programmed robots. Okay. What we have to do? We have give some particular commands in your robots and they perform these tasks whenever they are sensing a particular input. Okay. So, if I talk about the different types of robots, so some are, there are some example. Okay. So, pre-programmed robots. Okay. Humanoid robots. Okay. So, these are the some example. Okay. Autonomous robots, teleoperated robots, teleoperated robots. Okay. So many examples are available. Okay. And okay. So, these are the some example of the robots are available. Okay. Now, if I talk about this application where we are using these robots. Okay. So, most of you seen that the automatic robots comes in the whenever there is any natural disaster. Okay. So, here there you can use these robots. So, there are some application I am just writing like applications. Okay. So, helping fight forest fire. Okay. Second up, in case of natural disasters. Okay. And working alongside human in manufacturing plant. So, in here directly you can write it down, manufacturing plants. Okay. Okay. So, these are the some okay. Also you can write it down in the landmine detectors. Okay. So, these are the some examples of these. Okay. Okay. For the application where you can use the this automatic robots. Okay. So, at the end I just want to tell you that these automatic robot controls, okay, work on the also very depending upon the sensors. Okay. Suppose if someone is required the motion sensor, okay, handicapped person. So, we have designed so many robots, okay, like automatic wheelchair. It comes also the part of the, because you are designing on the basis of what the patient is moving the sensor. Okay. The sensor is connected with the these hands. Okay. So, on the basis of hands movement, your chair is going to rotate. Okay. Also, same thing you can do in the help of the your robot. Suppose you want to perform any task. Okay. So, for example, this robotic arm. Okay. This is the another example. Okay. If you want to perform any particular task, so this sensor are connected in your hands, and whenever these hands are moving in a particular direction, your automatic robot automatic this arm, okay, will perform. Okay, robotic arm will perform. Now, whenever this is introducing automatic, okay, so means a permutation combination of all the possible task you have to program in your robots. Okay. So, suppose yeah, for example, if you are taking one example that in most of the cases is this robotic to the human being communication. Okay. So, a human person is asking something and he is replying, or he is giving the direction of this. Okay. So, all the possible communication possible these the task, or for possible your you can say all the permutation combination of any event. Okay. So, you can program accordingly your robot. Okay. So, on this basis these they will perform. Okay. So, like for recently, okay, in USA they have designed these drone facility to delivering the product. So, what I have to do? You have to just enter the location of this where you want to deliver the product. Okay. Automatically you just enter, you just give the command, they will follow the predefined path and deliver the your thing whatever your product over there. Okay. So, these are the some example of this automatic robot control. So, also easily you can find out how many number of sensors they are using, okay, for sensing all possible things. Okay. So, that is why that comes into the very important role into the sensor and instrumentation. Okay. They are very fast to sensing the physical quantity and delivering the output in a proper and accurate manners. Okay. So, this is all about the your automatic robot control. Okay. So, thank you students.